This is the last word on sports. First American Bank's 4th down on 4.
Welcome into the show. Well, tragic it wasn't, and a 13-1 record is anything but heartbreaking to a franchise with more than 4 decades of disappointment. But last night did sting. You saw it in the players' faces afterward. You heard it in the awkward mumbles that echoed through the bowels of the Superdome as the usually boisterous Hootats lumbered out of the building. Their battle cry finally became a question last night with an unwanted answer. Pressure busts pipes, and last night it busted the hopes of a perfect season for the Saints. Gone are now the almost impossible expectations that only one NFL team has ever met. Unwanted condolences to the Saints.
There's no type of relief. It's disappointment. It's disappointment when you lose.
The Saints once again found themselves following a frightening trend, the early deficit. The 14-0 Dallas lead after the first 15 minutes gave the Saints opponents this season 99 first-quarter points to the Saints 71. That kind of discrepancy leads to digging out of holes rather than padding stats.
It limits us as a team, you know, whenever you play from behind. And we haven't started out fast the last 3 games, and that's been a problem, and that's something we got to get fixed.
But the Cowboys didn't ride away easily. Too many comebacks this year kept Hootats in their seats and confidence high. And when Nick Folk doinked the gimme, it was just assumed a 21-point fourth-quarter rally would be complete. Drew Brees huddled his offense. 2 minutes and 16 seconds, plenty of time to keep perfection intact.
He just said one play at a time. Let's make plays and win the game.
Felt like there was no doubt we were going to go down and score and send it in OT.
Yeah, we're going to win this. We definitely going to win it. We had a chance. When you got a quarterback like Drew Brees, man, in our offense, you got to put him on the field, give him a chance.
But the Saints' latest miracle turned to mush. Gone but not forgotten, however, was 16-0.
It just makes us more hungrier and motivates us to do better. It motivates us to make sure that we don't slop.
The script may have changed with a loss Saturday night. Only time will tell if this team's destiny has as well. A brief look at the numbers. Nothing eye-popping here from a team that was on pace to rewrite the record books. Drew Brees failed to throw for at least 300 yards for the second straight week. 65 yards was all the Saints could manage on the ground. Most telling, the Saints committing 3 turnovers while forcing 0. In studio to now talk more about that loss last night, Jeff Duncan, columnist for the Times-Picayune, covers the Saints. We appreciate you coming down. I remember it was asked of Darren Sharper last week, should there be a concern of some of the flaws that this team was starting to show, and his remark was, no, we're 13-0. I don't think you should be concerned. Well, I'm asking you now, 3 weeks of subpar play that were finally exposed, I think, ultimately last night. There are quite a few concerns, I think, maybe heading in, not necessarily the last 2 games of this season, but as you start looking into the playoffs.
No question, Scott. I mean, if it were 1 game, I think people could look past. I think Saints fans would be easily able to overlook what's going on. But this is a 3-game trend, and it's the same things that are happening every game. They're falling behind early. They're struggling in the passing game to stop opposing quarterbacks and opposing receivers, and they're giving up big plays on defense that they didn't give up for most of the season, and they're struggling to run the ball. In a lot of ways, they look a lot like last year's Saints, and I think the injuries are starting to kind of catch up with this team. And against the last night, I should say, they really struggled without Jeremy Shockey. That was a big loss for them. They weren't able to run a lot of 2 tight end sets like they normally run. It's been so effective with him and David Thomas. You saw them really hardly ever do that set. That's been a big staple of their offense this year, and it really limited them on offense. These things, mount up over time, and in the secondary, I think it's really caught up on defense.
Well, you talked about the running game, and you look at the last 3 games. The leading rusher for the Saints in Washington, 34 yards. Atlanta, 47 yards. And last night, 29 yards. That was Reggie Bush on 1 carry. I mean, this is a trend when you start going back to the first half of the season when Mike Bell was getting 143 yards and the leading rusher might have had 92 yards. Do you think teams are starting to figure some things out, or is this Sean Payton kind of falling into, all right, it doesn't work right off the bat, I'm going to start throwing the football a little bit more?
I think a little of both, but I also think it's a byproduct of them falling behind. You know, they would get those early leads early in the season like they did against Detroit, and then they just wear teams down the second half while running Mike Bell. They've fallen behind 14. They fell behind 14-0 last night before you knew it, 2 series. And then they tend to get caught up in the passing game, trying to get back into it. And I can see why Payton does it. I mean, you've got a quarterback like Drew Brees who's able to make these big plays in the passing game. But I do think he does give up on it a little bit. I mean, they got back in the game a little bit last night, and then they abandoned it again. And, yeah, I mean, obviously the injury to Bush hurt this team as well. You know, so I don't know what they're going to do on offense if they can't get Shockey back and they're out Bush right now. They're going to be strictly almost a passing team, and we've seen that just doesn't work, especially when they've got you know, problems at left tackle. We saw that again last night. I think Saints fans are starting to appreciate Jamal Brown a little more these days. You know, he was kind of a whipping boy for this fan base for a while, and you see how difficult it is to play left tackle in the NFL against those elite pass rushers.
I think anyone would have had a problem against DeMarcus Ware. I think he was playing with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder after the injury. But and Sean Payton touched on it. I thought I should have given him a little bit more help, so that goes to him. But back to this secondary issue, and it's just obviously the injuries. I think it shows how underappreciated Jabari Greer was, because he was able to really lock down guys. Now I think you're starting to see Darren Sharper cheat here and there, and then of course playing behind, he's not able to take the chances that he was able to take. But I think the one thing that's being exposed perhaps more than anything else in that secondary is some pretty poor open field tackling.
No question about it. And you know, the teams that the Redskins and the Falcons both weeks would just throw these quick hitches out in the flats and make the Saints corners come up and make plays. They really struggled to make plays in space. And I thought Tracy Porter played really well against the Cowboys. I think we saw what kind of talent he is a couple of times with those big pass breakups on third down. You don't see any other corners on the team making those kind of plays. We saw Jabari Greer make them a lot earlier this season. When they get those two guys back, which they should have them back for the playoffs if they can keep Tracy Porter healthy, they'll be back, I think, to being the kind of defense that they were in the year, because that also gives Greg Williams confidence to turn it loose up front and do some of those exotic blitzes that he just hasn't done much of lately. Yeah. I think he's scared.
Your thoughts real quick, though. Tony Romo, arguably the most mobile quarterback that they faced all season. He was able to really move around and create some space. When they go up against a Philadelphia or somebody with a McNabb, how do you see the Saints being able to control a quarterback that can do a little bit more with his feet? Because last night Romo really had his way, especially on third downs.
And that was the whole game plan, was to keep him in the pocket. They really feared him getting out in space. He throws much better on the run. They weren't able to do it. I think it's a really bad sign for them right now. They're not getting anything out of Charles Grant. He hasn't had a sack in weeks. He's kind of reverted back to the way he's been in previous years. And I think they've got to generate some kind of pass rush opposite Will Smith somehow, whether they use Bobby McCray more or Jeff Charleston. Somebody's got to get in there and help that pass rush out, because they're not getting anything out of that side of the ball.
All right, the Saints 13-1, and we're talking with Jeff Duncan. We may call him the soothsayer. When we come back, here's a man who almost predicted this start. I don't know if we can find the footage, though. Stay with us. Much more Fourth Down after the break. More. Well, time marches on, and so does the season for the Saints. Forgotten perhaps in the loss last night, though, were all of the wins prior and the plays that helped get the Saints to 13-0. You hope that Robert Meacham's strip 6 in D.C. 2 weeks ago is long remembered for the gem that it was, or that Darren Sharper's penchant for the pick and the 6 will certainly give the Saints their first Pro Bowl safety since Sammy Knight. All of that, though, would have been the perfect complement to a perfect season. So losing out on something that's never been done, not easily shrugged off.
Well, that's disappointing, you know, because you just don't know how many chances you're going to get at that, and to get as close as we did, you know, 13-0 with 3 to play in the regular season, and then the playoffs ahead of that, you know, that's tough. That's tough. Just I feel like we've fought so hard to get to where we're at now, and we've won games in so many different ways. So many players contributing and playing a key role, and you just feel like, you know, we deserved it, and the city deserved it, and the organization deserved it, and we wanted to make it happen for all of them.
Well, perfection may be gone, but an historic season still out there for the Saints, and Joining us again, Jeff Duncan of the Times-Picayune. So what's next? I want to get a little nostalgic, though, since this perfect season is now over. As someone covering the team and coming up with the storylines, were you getting tired of the perfection type stuff, or will you kind of miss the romanticism that was kind of out there surrounding this team, and do you think it'll kind of fade away now?
Well, you know, obviously it was a tremendous story. It was one of the biggest stories in sports, so I enjoyed it. It adds another element to this already magical season they're having, but it does change the focus now. I mean, now the Saints can strictly focus on trying to get the home field advantage and win the Super Bowl. Now, if they go on and go 18-1, win the Super Bowl, no one's going to remember this loss to the Cowboys. They'll still be considered one of the great teams of all time. And I think deep down, that's what they want. They want to be able to, they're saying all year, be special, and they would, in the end, be special, and certainly be special in the minds of Saints fans if they were to go all the way.
Do you think that it will kind of help them reset this season? You talked to a lot of people that covered the New England Patriots a few years back, and it was one of the greatest seasons of all time that was never enjoyed simply because they didn't win at all. They were never able to kind of relax a little bit. I don't know if relax is the right word, but I think Charles Grant put it in perspective. Maybe this adds a layer of anger to this team that wasn't there. Do you kind of buy into that a little bit?
Well, I think they needed some kind of wake-up call because they weren't playing like themselves. There seemed to be no sense of urgency in the way they start these games. And, if you talk to players on the Chicago Bears team that lost that game against Miami back in '85, it helped wake them up. And I could see something like that happening late in the year in a similar time of the season that will generate, some momentum for this team and get them back on track.
Especially the way I think this team has handled themselves up to this point. We talk about there being a lack of urgency, but there really wasn't. They weren't taking plays off type stuff. It was just there was just something. The edge wasn't there, and maybe, like you said, maybe this comes in. I think the locker room and maybe what Sean Payton can do. It'll be interesting to watch these final two games. I think it'll be more interesting to watch this Tampa Bay game. I think it's going to be a big indicator on how well this team bounces back, because I don't know if you saw it. They were pretty depressed last night. I mean, it was a big loss.
Well, and we've all seen Drew Brees. We know what kind of competitor he is. He's the leader of this team, and there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to respond the right way. And I think it couldn't happen better for them to have a team like Tampa Bay next on the schedule, a team that really is struggling right now on both sides of the ball, maybe losing their coach already after 1 year. And so this is a team the Saints should handle next week, and then they're down to a one-game season to get that home field advantage.
Do you think the dome mystique might have lost a little luster? You had really brought this up, that you thought that this team was virtually unbeatable when the crowd got going, and the Cowboys came in and dominated from start to finish pretty much. Will that have a lingering effect at all?
Well, I do think the aura of invincibility has gone from this team. The Saints played like they never could lose a game. They had such confidence. And I think it carried over in the fourth quarter in their games. I think that's gone a little bit, and I think every team in the NFC that watched that game now feels like they can come in and win a game like this, like that in the Dome, and I don't think that was the case before Saturday night.
All right, back in training camp, we had you on in a roundtable discussion. We broke down the schedule, and you actually had the Saints, and you pointed this out. You said, I think they can be 10-0 when they reach the New England game. We went back. You reminded me of this before you came onto the show tonight. We went back. We couldn't find any of that, so I'm not quite sure if it did happen.
Right.
But I wanted to give you a little credit on that. I think that you saw maybe some greatness in this team that not a lot of people saw early on.
Well, you knew that they were close last year. They lost a lot of close games, and if you were around the team all offseason and you were around them, they were a very confident bunch. And they were not surprised at all with how they started the season. I mean, the rest of America was, but if you were around the locker room, they felt like they were going to be very good this year. And so you could pick up on that, and once you started looking at the schedule, things were falling into place. They were playing the cold weather games in September. They were getting, they didn't have to travel really far. They had a fourth place schedule. I mean, you didn't have to look too far down the road to see that this team could do what they did. I think it's a little surprising they won some of the games the way they did, but I don't think their record surprised me very much at all.
All right. Jeff Duncan, Times-Picayune, you cover the Saints, and we appreciate you always coming on. You're always a very good contributor to Fourth Down.
Sure.
All right, stay with us. Much more Fourth Down after the break.
It began poorly and ended worsely for the Saints on Saturday night. With a goal to start more quickly on both sides of the ball, the Saints did neither. Dallas, which had scored just 43 first-quarter points through its first 13 games, an average of 3 points per first quarter, got 14 in the opening 15 minutes against the Saints. Dallas, which hadn't scored a first possession touchdown in a game since Thanksgiving. That's Thanksgiving of 2008. Took only a minute and 46 seconds to get one Saturday night. The Saints, meanwhile, were a quick 3-and-out on their first possession. In their last 4 games on their first possession, the Saints have scored none, 3, none, and 3 points. Their opponents on their first possessions in those 4 games have scored 7, 3, 7, and 7. And as if to underscore that the second half would be second verse, same as the first, the Cowboys drove 74 yards for another touchdown on their first possession of the third quarter. The Saints lost 3 yards on their first possession and punted. Early in the season, the Saints were starting fast and playing with the house's money. In recent weeks, they've been playing from behind, hoping desperately that fate would deal them that winning card to fill an inside straight. It was only a matter of time when it wouldn't, and Saturday night it didn't. The Saints would run the ball just 13 times, Dallas 36 times. The result would leave Drew Brees battered and bruised, harried, hurried, and harassed, sacked 4 times, intercepted 1 time, and fumbling twice. Not surprisingly, 13-0 became 13-no more, at least for now. For now, the euphoria is over. The bandwagon has hit a pothole. I don't think my email this week will include as many Saints poems and songs as the 13-game winning streak inspired. For now, the plethora of poems don't parse, and the songs don't rhyme. That's not to say they won't again for a season that the Saints still control, but have momentarily lost navigation of. To sleep, perchance to dream once more of sunny Miami shores. A dream inspired by a perfect start. A pleasant dream not concluded, merely interrupted, and hopefully resumed.
The Saints turned their focus to Tampa Bay after suffering their first loss of the season. The Black and Gold are now 13-1, and there's still plenty to celebrate.
We in the playoffs. We have a first-round bye.
Coming up on the Sean Payton Show, we'll look back at the battle between the Saints and the Cowboys in the Dome and get you ready for our next home game. Plus, Saints rookies get punked. It's one of the oldest pranks in the NFL, and our cameras are there to capture every moment.
I don't believe you're a player, dude. You're a rookie.
Sorry, guys. We gotta do it. Also ahead, Saints players give some young fans the surprise of a lifetime, and that's not all. We'll take you to the holiday event and much more. The Sean Payton Show starts now.
Let's go! The Sean Payton Show, presented by Circle K. What else do you need?
Hello, everyone. We're preparing to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Superdome.
Coach, you've only got one more home game left of the regular season, and with only one more win, you could clinch home field advantage. I mean, is that your primary goal for your team right now?
There's no question, Angie. Right now, our focus, coming off a tough Dallas loss, is squarely on the Tampa Bay game. It gives us an opportunity to secure the #1 seed in front of the best fans in America. That's a lot to be playing for, especially when you start the season. Clinch the division, prepare yourself for the best opportunity seeding-wise, and we have that this weekend.
Well, like you said, this does come after a tough game against Dallas, and there's been so much emphasis on the unbeaten streak. Now that that is out of the way, does your focus change at all?
Well, I think our focus has changed. I think, #1, the expectation level of our team has certainly gone up, and that's something we pride ourselves in, and we look forward to more great years. But right now, it's squarely on getting ready to play Tampa Bay, improve our chances for the 1 seed, and improve our chances for the postseason.
Well, we begin like we always do, with a recap, the Saints versus the Cowboys.
The Cowboys' visit will mark the 3rd of 3 primetime games the Saints will play this season, all in the Superdome.
Cowboys gonna cross the side!
In their perfect 13-0 start, the Saints have been remarkably consistent home and away. the Saints have and will face the most anticipated of foes on the 2009 home schedule. And we are underway. Play action. Feeling the pressure from Smith. Catches it in stride. Touchdown. It off Barber, left side, diving into the end zone, touchdown. Barber spikes the ball 8 yards deep in the end zone after a 3-yard touchdown dive to take a 14-0 lead. Here's Breeze throwing, and it's caught by Colston inside the 40, 35, 30, down to the 25, 20, and banged out of bounds. That is a 34-yard gain. The Saints will attempt to get on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. Snap, kick, and it is good. It is the Cowboys 14 and the Saints 3. Here's Romo dropping, and he's hit from behind and dropped. Will Smith gets him for the 3rd time tonight. Romo hits the carpet. From the Saint 27, Breeze in trouble. Hit from behind, drops the football. It's covered up by the Cowboys at the 23-yard line. And this crowd is stunned. Romo, play action. Here's Barber, left side, trying to break it outside. Vilma chasing him, can't bring him down. He's into the end zone for the touchdown. Handoff to Bell, runs it left, trying to get into the end zone. With second effort, he will. Mike Bell finally puts the Saints in the end zone, and the Saints cut into this Dallas lead. They throw it to Moore. Moore with a couple of blocks in front of him. He walks into the end zone, and the Saints have cut into the lead. These Saints, despite playing their worst first half of football, have kept these folks here till the final 12 seconds. 2nd and 10 from the 42 of the Cowboys. Breeze in trouble, hit from behind, drops the football. Cowboys cover it up. That's the end of the Saints' winning streak. The Cowboys leading at 24-17. The Saints just could not protect Drew Brees well enough all night.
They did a good job tonight and played a good game. You know, there were a number of things we just didn't do well enough.
Right now, it's just a matter of keeping the pedal to the metal and getting over this disappointment.
We have one loss of the season, but we still have football to go. We're still number 1. We're still Who Dat Nation.
We're going to go to the Super Bowl. We're going to win it, too.
It was not to be tonight.
We still got all our goals in front of us, and we got a lot to still prepare for. You want to go into a situation like this, hoping for the best, but, it didn't work out that way.
It just wasn't one of our best nights.
It just makes us more hungrier. It motivates us to do better. It motivates us to make sure that we don't slop.
You learn to keep fighting, and you know what kind of team you have, because we never gave up.
For 13 straight weeks, we've had a chance to look back at some key plays that helped us win games. And this is our first week looking back after a tough loss. So I'm going to go through this quickly so we can get on to the next opponent. But this was a key play in the Dallas game in the 4th quarter. We were behind 14, and it's a simple bunch play that we run, which is designed to really act like an outside running play. You're going to see Marcus Colston and Robert Meacham block the defenders here on the perimeter. Lance Moore is playing the inside position, and he's just going to take one baby step and catch this outside screen, and we're trying to outflank the defense. It just so happens Dallas doesn't really get the 3rd defender over here where he needs to be covering Lance. So we're able to get up to the line of scrimmage. Drew does a great job with the quick cadence. Quickly he recognizes there are only two Dallas defenders sitting here, and we get a little bit of a numbers advantage. We snap the football, get the ball to Lance, but watch how effectively Marcus and Robert block the 2 defensive backs here that allow Lance this scoring opportunity. This play is a key moment because it really brings us within 7 points late in the game with as bad as we played and really as well as Dallas has played. So at that moment, we come within 7 and give ourselves a chance at tying the game. It's a quick throw, it's an outside pass, and you can see the lane really given up by the defenders, and Robert Meacham, all right, Marcus Colston doing a great job. That was definitely a key moment in the game, which gave us a chance to get within 7.
Will Smith set a career high in sacks in the showdown against the Cowboys. Time now for a little lanyard. Smith had 4 tackles and 2 sacks. The 2 quarterback takedowns gives him 12 for the season. It also marks the highest single-season sack total by a Saint since linebacker Charlie Clemens back in 2001. He had 13.5. The Saints gave their rookies something special to remember this holiday season, a good old-fashioned prank. Nothing says welcome to the NFL better than this.
Hey guys, this is Fred McAfee, Player Development Director for the New Orleans Saints, and I'm here to show you something that's really funny. Today we sent out rookies to pick up turkeys. It's the oldest prank in the book in the NFL. We have the rookies going down to a local grocery store. They'll be followed by 3 cameras, one in a shopping cart, one behind the cash register, and one in a display booth. So it's really funny, so check out and see what happens.
How you doing, Mike?
How you doing?
Came to get the turkeys.
Oh, okay. You have a little ticket pass or anything?
Some of the little things?
Yeah.
I don't have those.
What's your name?
My name's Rob Hartley.
First year? Yeah, rookie, huh? Oh, man, Saints are doing so good, dude. Huh? Blow it up, dude. You got a driver's license? You gotta make sure you play for the Saints, man. Here you go. How you say that? How you say it?
Lorenzen.
Is that your middle name?
Yeah, Tyler John Lorenzen.
Moosehead. Is that you? Do they call you that?
Morstead.
No?
No Moosehead, no. Everybody calls it
Morsehead.
Morstead.
Morstead.
Is there any way where we can maybe, you know, switch out a ham for a turkey? Like, just
okay.
vice versa. I'm allergic to turkey, so...
You're allergic to turkeys?
Yeah, just makes me break out, you know, so...
Oh, yeah?
But, yeah, so...
Yeah, put me to sleep. You got 2 of them. Don't fumble.
Do I give you these?
Yeah, I got to check on the list. Because these are for the Saints players.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Your names wasn't on the list, and those turkeys y'all got were the wrong kind.
Okay.
Those turkeys, like they were like pregnant. If it's not honeysuckle, it's the other kind you get. Daniel William Chase. They chase you around a lot, huh?
No doubt.
Okay, let me go show this to my manager. See what I can do. Mr. Danielle? Dude, can I get your autograph? Can you, like, forge Drew Brees' name? Do you ever do that?
No.
No? We had some Saints players in here. They wouldn't do it either.
I play for the Saints, though.
You do?
Yeah.
What position?
Quarterback.
Quarterback?
Yeah, that's why I have those passes.
Isn't Drew Brees the quarterback?
Yeah, but there's more than one quarterback on the team.
Yeah, I'm just trying to check, dude.
No, I got you.
I wish I could get a turkey. I make $9 an hour. How much you make? Huh? I never heard of these guys neither. Hey, y'all not on the list, man.
Not organized, bro.
We didn't know our names on the list. I don't know.
They're just trying to make sure y'all steal them too, probably. It's like a security issue.
Stealing turkeys? Why do you think I have those cards? We all play for the Saints.
They play.
Yeah.
Chase.
Chase?
Stanley.
Yeah, he thinks he's a quarterback.
I mean, I don't know what else you need. I just gave you the names of the guys that I'm picking them up for. Are they not on the list? Have you checked for them?
Mr. Danielle?
Mr. Danielle.
Punter, 6'4",
Really?
225, rookie, SMU.
Dude, he's got short hair, dude. I don't believe you're a player, dude. The picture barely even looks like you.
You're telling me that doesn't look like me? I took that 5 months ago.
That looks like a baby's face. Looks like you were in high school.
Look at me, right here.
Take the hat off? You get more hair now. Look at that. You use Rogaine?
I don't know if you're playing or not, bro, but I'm starting to get a little pissed off.
Let me check on him.
I don't know if he's trying to be funny or whatnot, but it ain't funny no more, you know?
All right, look, this is a piece of paper. You just got to read it and sign it, and I'm sure you'll be free to go. I just wanted to prove that y'all were really Saints players.
Yeah, now?
Yeah. Read this, you sign it, and then I'll give it to him and see what he says. We would like to take this opportunity to inform you that you had the oldest prank in the NFL. The NFL wanted to say thank you. Bring Joe.
Am I really on camera? Shut the hell up. I don't believe you.
There's a camera there, guys. Y'all can smile. There's a camera right there.
No
There's a camera up there. Thank you.
That is unbelievable.
Oh, welcome to the NFL.
Thank you.
All right.
That is unreal.
Stay right there. We still have much more ahead on the Sean Payton Show. Coming up, the Saints are giving back to the community for the holidays. We'll tell you how they're making this season one to remember for these youngsters. That story is next.
The Sean Payton Show is brought to you by the Louisiana Lottery. Get in the game. Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And by PenskeTruckRental.com.
Coach Edwards, the Coors Light Silver Ticket promotion is back. How do you play?
You play to win.
Right, so you start with some cold Coors Light, then you
play to win the game.
Yes, agreed. We were just wondering, do you go online? Do you enter a code?
Hello? You play to win the game.
Look for the official entry code inside special packs of Coors Light for your chance to win NFL tickets.
Do you ever play to lose the game?
Get out.
You get out.
Join the fun from Louisiana Lottery. Guaranteed to keep you smiling like you ought to be. Play again, you could win. It's so easy to see. You need a reason to smile.
It's the Holiday Scratch-Offs from the lottery. Money Tree went up to $100,000. Gifts went up to $12,000. And happy holidays. Fun to give, fun to get.
You need a reason to smile.
I always wanted to be a Saints Nation. They're such a big part of our city.
You know, it takes a village to raise a child. This is the village.
It's the Big Easy Funny.
None of this. Oh, is it too hot? Too cold? Who cares?
Hey, New Orleans, I'm back, y'all. Did you miss me? I missed you too, man.
If all we do is turn out a football player at the end of 4 years, we fail.
Working for families hell, but we all pull together and do what we gotta do.
Take a look around. This is our house tonight, baby.
I know now what I didn't know then. New Orleans is a happy place, and people smile and engage each other.
But the truth is, it's not always the kids that get lost. Sometimes it's us, the grown-ups.
I don't know why anyone would want me dead.
Guess we'll find out, won't we?
There's no one in the world better qualified in personal security and threat assessment.
I work with a cover. Let you appear vulnerable so the threat reveals itself, and then eliminate the threat.
What are you afraid of? Dying? It's not gonna happen. Come on, it'll be fun.
Welcome back, Saints fans. Even though this is the busy time of the season, when the holidays come around, we do our part to give back.
Recently, some youngsters at Bethune Elementary in New Orleans got the surprise of a lifetime. A visit from some players and a pretty sweet gift to take home just in time for Christmas.
My name is Denise Thornton. I'm the president and founder of the Beacon of Hope Resource Center in New Orleans. And we started this event with the New Orleans Police Department. It was actually Major Greg Elder who approached us and said that they were so blessed and so fortunate to have the support of the 3rd District through the course of the 4 years, who really supported them through a lot of hard times with trying to get them back into their building, that they wanted to do something to give back to the community.
We raised enough money to purchase 50 brand new bikes for 50 of the students here. Not only did we have the bikes, but we had brand new helmets and brand new bike locks for them.
It's a complete surprise to them. They have no idea what it is. The criteria was any child who showed improvement, either academically or in conduct, and their attendance was good.
First of all, you have to have good what? Good behavior. And you have to work what?
We have 3 New Orleans Saints players right here in this building with us right now.
How y'all doing this afternoon? Good, good. Hey, well, thank y'all for having us here. My name is Darnell Dinkins. I play tight end for the Saints. To my left, we have Linnell Hamilton. He plays running back for us. To the far left, we have rookie Thomas Morstead. He plays punter for us. Just remember, you know, in this bike giveaway, you know, in the toy drive, you know, you gotta not just think about the things, but just remember the season of, you know, Christmas and what it truly means to, you know, to give on to others and to, you know, be thankful for all the things that you do have, and for the policemen coming out and the schools and everybody who support, you know, our youth, because you guys are tomorrow. You guys are the next, you know, Saints players and the doctors and the police officers are here. So just make sure, in spite of what we give out today, just make sure that you're giving back to somebody else in the community who could, you know, really help or could need some help.
Seeing the smiles on these kids' faces when they get their bikes is great. It takes me back to when I got my scooter. I didn't get a bike, but I got a scooter for the first time, and I was just so happy, and I love giving back, especially to kids.
It's really great to have the Saints player come to our school, because a lot of schools don't have the Saints player, or they may go to the game and they see them, but they can't never meet them up really close.
You know, so the kids are so thankful to have one-on-one time with us, just to, you know, spend some time talking. Who's better?
Now, where you going to be moving?
I've never been able to be a part of anything like this, and you know, it's not just a one-way street where it really is about giving back, and you can tell that it means so much to these kids. Just it's just unbelievable to be able to do this.
Up next on the Sean Payton Show, Coach breaks down his plan for Tampa Bay. Don't go anywhere, Saints fans. We'll be back in a flash.
Hi, it's Coach Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints. How would you like to ride with me in the Orpheus Parade? You can if you join the crew of Payton. Join me, Reggie Bush, Bobby Hebert, and a host of other celebrities for a thrill of a lifetime. We'll ride together in the Orpheus Parade, dance the night away at the Orpheus Ball, and you'll join the crew of Payton for our pregame party February 12th at the Mardi Gras World. With only 40 positions available on this float, call the number on your screen, 214-529-6681. Let's play it forward.
Coach Edwards, the Coors Light Silver Ticket promotion is back. How do you play?
You play to win.
Right, so you start with some cold Coors Light, then you
play to win the game.
Yes, agreed. We were just wondering, do you go online? Do you enter a code?
Hello? You play to win the game.
Look for the official entry code inside special packs of Coors Light for your chance to win NFL tickets.
Do you ever play to lose the game?
Get out.
You get out.
Come by the official Saints store for all the new 2009 season apparel and gear. Gate A Plaza level at the Superdome. Free parking in Garage 6.
Hey, you're late.
But I brought friends.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up?
What's up?
Hi.
Hi. You got enough stuff?
Yeah. Got it.
What else do you need?
Touchdown!
Hey there, Coach. It's Pat Green here. I was just wondering, I'm here at the Dome, and I was wondering what you're going to do to tear up Tampa Bay.
Pat Green, I appreciate the question. You know, looking back, I know better to invite someone from Texas to a Dallas Cowboys game. So we're going to move on to Tampa, and I think your question's a good one. Anytime we play the Buccaneers, it starts with being able to protect the football and win the turnover battle. One of the elements we're going to have to deal with defensively is number 24, Cadillac Williams. And you'll see him. He's having a great season. He's fully recovered from his injuries. This is a play last week where they run a little play-action fake with him. The quarterback, Josh Freeman's going to set up in the pocket, and then you're just going to see him kind of leak out late on a screen pass. And then watch how Tampa does a great job of selling this, setting up in the pocket, looks like a play-action pass, and then becomes just a screen over to the left. They do a great job blocking in space, and 24 does the rest for them. That was a big touchdown for them last week. The left guard does a great job of fitting in space here. They give Cadillac a little bit of room, and he ends up making the touchdown off of this play. This was a touchdown pass for them in the Seahawk game. We're going to go after this play now. Same player, Cadillac Williams, but now we're going to deal with him in the running game. And this is just a simple strong side, lead back play. They do a great job of running behind these guards. They're led by right guard Davin Joseph out of Oklahoma. He's a tremendous player. Much like Jari Evans, they're two of the best young guards in football, both playing right guard. They do a good job of pushing the line of scrimmage, and then he picks his crease and ends up exploiting the Seattle defense for a big gain. And you're just going to watch this line movement as they do a good job of just pushing and staying on the angle here. You'll notice that the back is on the same angle as the blockers, and they're working this course. Jeff Fain, all right, the right tackle here, and then he finds his spot, and there he goes. He puts his left foot in the ground, does a great job of cutting back. This is going to challenge our defense, and certainly part of this week's Payton's plan is controlling this real good running back and a good offensive line in Tampa Bay. That would be this week's Payton plan.
Coming up on the Sean Payton Show, our latest true Saint. But first, Saints trivia. When was Reggie Bush's first NFL touchdown? The answer right after the break.
Join the fun from Louisiana Lottery. Guaranteed to keep you smiling like you ought to be. Play again, you could win. It's so easy to see. You need a reason to smile.
It's the holiday scratch-offs from the lottery. Money Tree went up to $100,000. Gifts went up to $12,000. And happy holidays. Fun to give, fun to get.
You need a reason to smile.
As a true sports fan, Ed knows all about decibels. That yelling at 105 decibels is like a jackhammer. 120, a jet engine. That team performance is linked to crowd noise, so he keeps his voice ready. And he knows to go to Ticketmaster, where they've got more ways to get you into the game, including buying and selling seats from season ticket holders and other fans. Because for Ed's voice to be heard, Ed has to be there. Buy and sell NFL tickets at nfl.com/ticket exchange.
Want to go to Italy?
Forget about it.
Come to Metairie.
Right over here.
Experience Impastado's fine Italian dining, the cozy atmosphere, great prices. Right here in Metairie.
Whatever you want.
The food, the fun, the friends, unforgettable.
Okay, don't forget about it.
Call and reserve your VIP seats now.
We'll fill up early.
Impastado's, Italy in Metairie.
Bring the whole family.
You won't forget about it.
I always wanted to be a Saints station. They're such a big part of our city.
You know, it takes a village to raise a child. This is the village.
It's the Big Easy Funny.
None of this. Oh, is it too hot? Too cold? Who cares?
Hey, New Orleans, I'm back, yo. Did you miss me? I missed you too, man.
If all we do is turn out a football player at the end of 4 years, we fail.
Working for family's hell, but we all pull together and do what we gotta do.
Take a look around. This is our house tonight, baby.
I know now what I didn't know then. New Orleans is a happy place, and people smile and engage each other.
But the truth is, it's not always the kids that get lost. Sometimes it's us, the grown-ups.
When was Reggie Bush's first NFL touchdown? The answer, 2006, in a game against the Bucs.
Right now, let's introduce you to our latest true Saint, Denise Holmes. She's a huge Saints fan who always spreads that Saint spirit. Holmes lives as a role model for underprivileged teens and continuously works to fight homelessness. In fact, before tailgating last weekend, Denise Holmes headed out to make sure homeless men and women in the city had a meal to eat. Denise, because of your efforts in the community, you're getting 2 of my tickets to this week's game against Tampa Bay. We will see you there.
Coach, the Bucs are coming to the Dome. It's the final home game of the regular season. And now that you're rounding out the regular season, is it becoming even more difficult to not look too far ahead?
I think sometimes it is. I think our players are focused. I think they understand the significance of this game, and I think our fans do as well. I think anymore, everyone understands what's at stake. We're playing at 12 noon on Sunday, which has been a while since we've done that, so we're counting on a great effort from the fans, and we're looking forward to the same effort from our team.
All right, Saints fans, let's continue to show our black and gold support. We're leaving you with a little something special for the holidays.
Enjoy the game. We'll see you next week.
I got a big wish for Santa, and it's not a new Cadillac. It's better than Grandma's cooking. It's better than hot beignets. It's better than a lot of money, much bigger than a mighty rocket. I don't need champagne or caviar. Don't need no ice cold fruit. I don't need no big old barbecue pit. Wait a minute, that's not true. Just had a rap with Santa, and we took us a little stroll. And all I want for Christmas is the Saints in the Super Bowl.
Here's Breeze, gonna throw, Shockey, touchdown!
And up and over and in is Mike Bell on 3rd and goal from the 1. Mike Bell.
Bush turns left side, dives for the pylon, and he will score!
Pierre Thomas shakes the tackle, sidesteps another, burst to the 10, 5, touchdown! What a run by Pierre Thomas!
We wanna go to the Super Bowl, the biggest Christmas present ever.
Brady steps up, throws, and it's intercepted. Mike McKenzie has it.
Who that wearing that black and gold? All I want for Christmas is the Saints in the Super Bowl.
And cut.
The Sean Payton Show, presented by Circle K. What else do you need?
Absolutely, Boom. Looking forward to seeing you guys. Hey, Tom Benson busted yesterday. Caught raising his hands in triumph after he thought Garrett Hartley's 37-yard field goal was good, giving the Saints yet another victory. Only at hook left, opening the door to the Bucs to win in overtime.
Well, I would imagine the Saints Nation is a conflicted one tonight. It feels badly, but not that badly. It feels good, but not that good. Please excuse the use of the adjective good when it should be the adverb well. But stay with me, if you will. It has 13 reasons to feel good and 2 reasons to feel badly. 2 reasons to feel badly and 13 reasons to feel good. 13-2 is the record. A 2-game losing streak can't erase what a 13-game winning streak accomplished. And yet, those 2 losses put in doubt the worth of what the 13-game winning streak provided. The Saints have secured a first-round playoff bye and at least 1 home playoff game. Home has been the scene of the last 2 losses, the only losses of the season in which the Saints are 7-0 on the road. How much has changed since the Saints last won at home, that dominating 38-17 win over the Patriots on Monday night, which made the Saints 11-0 and the odds-on choice to win the Super Bowl at that time. Since then, the Saints have gone from swaggering to staggering. Then the Saints were being called a team of destiny. And while they still control their playoff destiny, it suddenly seems that without divine intervention, the Saints seem incapable of intervening on their own behalf. Tonight, they will rely on the Chicago Bears, of all people, to provide it for them. A victory over the Vikings makes the Saints the NFC's top seed, already assured of a first-round bye and 2 home playoff games, provided they can win their first. As we have seen in the last 8 days, that's much less of a certainty than it appeared to be a month ago. Assuming the Vikings win, the Saints go to Carolina next week, needing to take care of business themselves to earn that #1 seed, or hoping that the Giants can defeat the Vikings in the Metrodome in a game being played at the same time the Saints meet the Panthers. And what a trick bag that could provide. Players who might benefit from a 2-week rest might instead have to play, and for how long? And possibly at what cost? Could more injuries be incurred in victory? Could more doubts arise in defeat? Could confidence be bolstered in victory? Could regulars benefit from returning to action before a 1-week layoff, regardless of the outcome? Could the swagger be restored with a win? Would the stagger become a stumble that leads to a first-game playoff fall? The Saints have fallen and can't get up at the moment, but both the Cowboys and the Bucs have now provided a home alert. Suddenly, home doesn't look nearly as inviting as it once did. The Saints have worn T-shirts this season saying, "Smell greatness" and "Finish strong." The standings through 15 games say the Saints are the best team in the NFC, and now some new T-shirts for inspiration might best be printed with the slogan, "Prove it." And we'll be talking about the Saints on our weekly fan chat on WWLTV.com coming up at 6:30.
A lot to talk about. I imagine a lot of fans want to talk to you, too.
I hope so.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
Poor pass coverage and kick coverage cost the Saints dearly against the Tampa Bay Bucs. That's in tonight's breakdown. Saints first-round pick cornerback Malcolm Jenkins struggled in coverage. Here on 3rd and 1 from the 11, Brian Clark gets inside of Jenkins for a catch and gain of 15. On the same drive to start the 4th quarter, Kellen Winslow beats Jenkins across the middle for 35 yards. Tampa would score on the drive to cut the Saints' lead to 17-10. The Bucs tied the game on a 77-yard punt return by Michael Spurlock. Several things happened. Both Saints gunners were tied up by double teams. So when Spurlock caught the punt, the closest Saint was 12 yards away. Spurlock had time to get upfield, make one cut, and be off to the races. This is how close the Saints were to winning before Garrett Hartley's missed field goal. On a Drew Brees pass to Robert Meacham, A Buck defender went high to finally get Meacham off balance and down at the Tampa Bay 19. Meacham was this close to keeping his balance and scoring. If he does, the Saints have home field advantage in the NFC. And of course, the Saints can still get the #1 seed in the NFC if Minnesota loses at Chicago tonight. Well, it is the question in the city of New Orleans this Monday. Is it time to panic, or is this the football equivalent of an infamous New Orleans pothole on the road to the Super Bowl? And the answer is, check with me Sunday. If the Vikings win tonight and the Saints need to win at Carolina to get that top seed in the NFC and they play poorly, then it is time to hit the panic button. The Saints would head to the playoffs with 3 straight losses. On this Blue Monday, many Saints fans are asking this question: what has happened to the offense? The answer is offenses are by nature inconsistent. Defenses win playoff games. The Saints were as high as 11th in total defense. That number is now 24. Last week, head coach Sean Payton said he doesn't pay any attention to that number. Maybe he should. And against the Bucs, it could have been worse. Rookie quarterback Josh Freeman threw an interception to Tracy Porter in the end zone. Earlier, Freeman missed a wide-open receiver, the pass intercepted by Darren Sharper. In 3 of the past 4 games, the bottom rung of NFL quarterbacks, Jason Campbell, Chris Redmond, and Josh Freeman, have had field days against the Saints defense. It is approaching money time in the NFL. Time for defensive coordinator Greg Williams, he of the sizable paycheck, to live up to his hype. So,
a lot of people scratching their heads this weekend.
Well, you know what? That was a head scratcher, because when you're up 17-0 against the Bucs, with all deference to my friend Hank Allen, that's like being up 17-0 against Mississippi State. So,
sorry, Hank.
You've got to win the game. Okay, you've got to win the game.
All right, thanks a lot, Ed. A final check.
This is the last word on sports. First American Bank's 4th down on 4.
The Saints are coming. The Saints are coming apart at the seams. Welcome to 4th down on 4. I'm Juan Kincaid, and the Saints are struggling to find their old form again. Gone are the days of winning games with ease. For the first time all season long, the Saints have a 2-game losing streak, the latest being today's 20-17 setback to Tampa Bay. It's the kind of performance we've come to expect from these Saints lately, but certainly not what we all needed to see again. With so much to play for here in Week 16, the Saints came ready to play on the game's opening drive.
We started off fast, with 17 straight points.
That first drive appeared to set the tone for the rest of the game, and one thing stood out about it: a commitment to establish the run first. Yes, the run set up the pass, and when they did throw it, Drew Brees was on point, completing his first 7 throws. For one half, this game had an early season feel to it. The Saints jumping on their opponent early with a first-quarter touchdown. First time that's happened in the past 5 games. And on a day when the offense had its highs and lows, the defense showed plenty of fight. Turnovers and high pressure came as a package deal. Darren Sharper picked off his 9th ball this season, 63rd in his career. And the Saints got to Bucs quarterback Josh Freeman often, sacking him 3 times while intercepting him twice. So for 30 minutes, all was well inside the dome. Saints had a 17-3 halftime lead and could almost taste victory.
It was really the tale of 2 halves. And we really struggled there in the second half offensively. Obviously, with us not being able to score any points, we gave up the big punt return, and we just couldn't make enough plays.
Yes, Dr. Jekyll was more like Mr. Hyde in the final 30 minutes. First, the Saints offense went into hibernation. 5 possessions, 3 punts, a turnover, and 0 points scored.
We drive it to the 50 and then unfortunately come up short, have to punt. Turn around, get the fumble after we've crossed inside Tampa's territory. So just didn't feel like we had a lot of possessions there, in the second half. We struggled with some 3rd downs. We didn't have any penalties in the first half. We had a few in the second half. And, we had the long completion, strip fumble.
the mistakes that hurt you in a game like this.
And the offensive struggles only meant the defense had to carry the load. And the Bucs' second drive of the third quarter showed that could be a problem. Starting at their own 2-yard line, Tampa Bay drove 98 yards on the strength of Carnell Williams' legs for the score. The Bucs ran the ball at, around, and through the Saints defense for 179 yards.
In our league, it's crisis or carnival, because the stuff in the middle doesn't sell. And we understand that. We've talked about that before, and you find out a lot about your players and your team when you're going well, 10, 11, 12, 13-0, and now you hit some adversity.
The adversity was confirmed late in the fourth quarter thanks to some not-so-special teams play. First, this 77-yard punt return by Michael Spurlock for the tying touchdown. Then, with a chance to win it in regulation, Garrett Hartley, who was given the kicking duties full time when the Saints released John Carney last week, missed a 36-yard kick by that much.
It felt great, and the snap and the hold were perfect, and it was all me. It was just a bad kick.
So a game that began with such promise early on would need extra time to decide things. The Bucs won the toss, and 11 plays later won the game, the exact same way the Saints should have won it.
Everything happens for a reason, and unfortunately, you face adversity. At some point during the season, now we didn't expect it or want it to be, now starting off 13-0 and then dropping 2 in a row. But these are the types of things that bring teams together.
There are so many reasons why the Saints lost today, but here's one good reason why. What they did so well in the first half, run the ball, they struggled to repeat in the second. Over 7 yards per rush attempt early, under 3 yards a carry late. Our first guest tonight has seen his share of Saints flops in his time of covering them. Now Brian Alley Walsh gets to see it firsthand as a member of NewOrleans.com. Brian, welcome back to 4th Down on 4. Always
Thank
nice
you,
to be
Juan.
with you.
Thanks.
I heard a guy say after the game today, this was the worst egg lay in Saints history. Would you agree with that? There's been a lot of bad. Yeah, put it in perspective.
Oh boy, I tell you what. I know this with as much as they had at stake, and that is, for the first time in franchise history to claim home field advantage throughout the playoffs, to blow a 17-point lead against arguably a doormat. I understand that this is the first time in NFL history a 13-win team has lost to a 2-win team. First time in NFL history, so that kind of puts it in perspective a little bit, Juan.
Yeah, we want this team to win, obviously, for the obvious reason, get that home field advantage throughout the playoffs. But for me, it was really important to see them play well for 60 minutes. We haven't seen that happen since the Patriots game.
I don't know if you could say that they've played well for 60 minutes in the month of December.
Yeah, no, they haven't.
To be perfectly honest with you. And if you think about it, everybody's given the Cowboys a lot of grief for this December swoon. This team's 2-2 in December, but their 2 wins were on the road, good road wins, but they still had to struggle against Washington and Atlanta. So they're not playing very good football as they head into the new year.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what happened. Look, the first 3 drives of the game couldn't get any better, except you obviously wanted to go for 1 to 4th and 1 to take the field goal. But what happened from that last drive of the field goal to the end of the game with this offense? Just totally disappeared. Out of sync, fumbling the ball, can't protect. Just everything.
Yeah, in every phase, too. Yeah. You're not just talking about offense. You're talking about every phase. Yeah, I was one of those people who thought that that Sean should have gone for it on 4th and 1. They're at the 10. They've been running the ball at will on Tampa Bay. With a bad football team, you can't let that team stick around, Juan. And I thought they let that team stick around when they could have stepped on its neck with a first down drive. Who knows, maybe even a touchdown right there. It's 21-zip. Bad teams collapse at that point. And they allowed not just that play, but the Saints allowed this team to hang around, and this is what happens to it when you let a bad team hang around.
And Brian,
they're not a bad team. I shouldn't say that. They're a good football team, Juan, but this is a team that should have been owned by the Saints today.
Yeah, and the players we talked to this afternoon in the locker room after the game were saying the same thing. We don't understand why we lose a football game. We're up 17-0. One guy I had a chance to talk to was Devery Henderson. Up 17-0. I know no one saw this as the end result.
No, didn't at all. I figured we do some things coming out in the second half and put them away, put the game away. But they came out and did a good job. Came up short. We didn't stay on the field as offense. We didn't put up points. All around, we just have to work hard, go back, do some soul searching, and keep moving.
I'm looking at your mannerisms as you're answering the question about that, and you look like you're a little, like it's kind of a head-scratching thing, like what's going on with this offense, because this is 2 weeks in a row where they haven't been able to put together 60 full minutes of offensive, I guess, splendor, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but we know the type of offense we have, and with the things we can do. Sometimes you're not gonna come out and do all the things you want to do and convert all the third downs and catch all the ball. It's just certain things just not gonna always work in your favor. So, for us, we just have to keep working, keep pushing. Everything is still good. We still can accomplish a lot of things. We put ourselves in a position where we got to grind and work though to get that. So, that's the main thing.
It was setting up for you guys nicely. A 2-12 team that really has nothing to play for, except a little pride coming in here. You guys get off to the perfect start against them, pretty much bury them 1 foot in the ground, but you're unable to close the deal, and that's been kind of the trouble with this team over the last 2 weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, I really don't know what what was the purpose of that, but was the cause of that. But we have to do a better job. They really improved as a team from the first time we played them to now. They really improved, but I feel we should have won. We had them. We let them hang around, and they did a good job staying in there and fighting, and we came back and we came up short.
One last thing, how much is this team going to learn about itself over the next 2-3 weeks, however long the season continues into the playoffs, and perhaps learn more about itself than it did in the first 13 games of the season?
I think we're going to learn a lot. I think we're going to, as a team, we're going to go back, get things corrected, and come out with a chip on our shoulder. It's just the type of team we are. This type of team, the type of character of the team. We don't like to lose. 2 in a row. That's not us. I don't think so. I don't think we're that type of team. But at the same time, we see how we react to this and how we come back off of these 2 losses.
All right, thanks, Debbie. Well, you hear what Debbie Henderson has to say, but Brian, this offense struggles back-to-back week, have not been consistent over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Maybe they're pressing?
Oh, yeah, based on what we saw today, and Darren Sharper was talking about, when they were going through the 10 and 11, the build up to 13 and 0-1, he was talking about that they were playing like every play was their last play, that they were playing with a sense of urgency. And he says, we don't have that right now. And listen, you know as well as I do, in the playoffs, it's one and done, baby. Yeah. If you don't come out with that sense of urgency, they can win home field advantage, but if they don't take advantage of it and get this sense of urgency back, they're going to be out the door, baby. They're going to be out the door.
You're right about that. Brian Ellie Walsh from NewOrleans.com, our guest here on 4th Down on 4. Stay with us, back in a moment. More with Brian Ellie Walsh and Eric Asher coming up. We'll discuss if the Saints let John Carney go too soon. Plus, it's been a
It was all me. It was just a bad kick. I rushed myself a little bit. My head, came up, and he just got it, a bad ball. It wasn't even remotely close. It's not anywhere how it normally comes off my foot. Drew told me that, we learned some, humility now, and that way make us humble and come out and prevail and learn from our past experiences.
Welcome back to 4th Down on 4. We have 2 guests now. Of course, Brian Ellie Walsh from NewOrleans.com, Eric Asher from WIST Radio. Eric, I want to start with you this time. The special teams have been a struggle all year long. Sean Payton did not want to throw all the blame on Garrett Hartley this afternoon, but he has to have some of it, doesn't he?
I don't think there's any doubt. They made the move with Carney, got rid of Carney. One of the reasons why they felt he had a livelier leg, a guy that could be more consistent, a guy that did miss a field goal for him last year. But again, you wanted to see what this guy could do when the pressure was on. Pressure was on today to win a game, and he couldn't do it. Is that going to be something that's going to linger? Obviously you want to see him get back on the horse against Carolina, make some kicks, because you don't want to have this situation in the playoffs.
They waived John Carney and bring him back as a kicking consultant with the idea, now the whole premise is here, to improve their special teams. And what happened? They get burned for a 77-yard touchdown today. Now that's not, it accentuates or kind of broadens this big move that they made this week when they got rid of Carney.
Yeah, it does. Good day for the defense, though. Change gears for a second. They only give up 10 points on defense. They have about couple sacks, a couple interceptions. Not a bad day for the defense as a whole.
Well,
except for the running game.
Again, injuries are really hurting this team, whether it be at cornerback, obviously, with Jabari Greer. Cedric Ellis coming back maybe a little too soon. You look at the situation with Casillas and Jenkins, 2 rookies having to play big roles in the defense at linebacker and at corner. So they need to get players back on the field so then they can schematically, they can start to blitz, put a little bit more pressure on offenses.
I mean, it's an area that we knew was going to be kind of a building process as the season goes on, but to give up 170-plus yards on the ground, that's troubling, isn't it?
It is, but remember, 17 points, you should be able to win a football game giving up 17
with this
points.
offense.
With this offense. Yeah. If you go back, this is the first time now that they have not scored at least 20 points in back-to-back games since the start of the 07 season. That's a lot of games.
One thing I thought was interesting, Sean Payton said in his press conference, said, you know what, we're going to these next few weeks are going to test what this team is really all about. Forget the 13-0 start when it was all hunky-dory then. Really going to find out a lot about this team, aren't we?
Well, I think you are. You're going to find out what type of leadership you really have in the locker room when they have to take on adversity. But again, this is a team that doesn't have a tremendous amount of depth, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, it's lackadaisical. I mean, for the exception of Shockey, you look at Pierre Thomas hurt today. For the most part, they've got their offense intact. They got weapons. At this point, they just seem just being a little bit of a funk here.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, the Carolina game coming up, look, all of a sudden, Carolina's going to be a difficult opponent for the football team. They don't have much to play for except to be the spoiler, and we're looking at a Saints team that may end up losing the home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, you know, when
seems inconceivable, doesn't it?
It really does. When you think about where they were just to start this month and even squeaking by Washington and Atlanta, you know, I thought that coming in, this might be the most important game of the season for them for a couple of reasons. One, if you beat this team, if you beat Tampa Bay, you do clinch home field, you can rest some key people next week. This team cannot afford to, provided, you know, Minnesota wins tomorrow night against Chicago. Then all of a sudden you're down to the final week and, you know, you're playing for home field advantage, and that's a big thing.
And this is a team that needs to rest some guys. I mean, you're bringing Jabari Greer back next week. He's going to have some rust on him, but is it too soon to bring him back? Does Jeremy Shockey play? He's got an injury right now. I mean, there's some big questions they have to answer for next weekend's game because that game may mean a lot.
Well, you'd like to rest some of the injured players to allow them to have a little bit of a rest going into the playoffs, but right now, the way that offense is playing, you might want to put everybody on the field and make sure everybody has an opportunity to play, because obviously they're just not the same team they were before New England.
Yeah, Brian, this is a tough stretch for this football team. They haven't had this kind of adversity all year long. Real quickly.
No, I agree with you, and it will be the kind of thing that you're going to look at and see, because if they can't pull us back up here to finish out the season, Juan, you're going to be looking at a catastrophic downfall here. If they go 13-0 and something would happen to them in the first round of the playoffs, you're looking at a real demise here of a good football team.
You're right. Brian Ellie Walsh. Thanks buddy. Appreciate you coming, Brian. Brian Ellie Walsh from NewOrleans.com. He's taking a hike. Keeping Eric Asher here to talk about the Hornets in just a bit. But first, we want to talk about the past 24 hours in the build-up to the Sugar Bowl.
So, 10 years. Can we really boil it down to 10? Let's give it a shot, and I think you'll remember some of these. Here we go. How about this ending of a regular season game, the Saints and the Jaguars? Saints were trailing 20-13, and New Orleans, Aaron Brooks to Dante Stallworth, but the fun was only just beginning. Stallworth makes some moves, and then, where's Michael Lewis? I know he's over here somewhere. The little guy, Michael Lewis, the electrical player, and then to Deuce McAllister, and then wait a minute, it's going to Jerome Payton. Are you kidding me? What? The Saints are going to score, and then John Carney missed the extra point. Oh my goodness. Saints lose 20-9 down. But if you're going to go longer, you got to go to the end of a game in 07, end of a half. Antonio Cromartie missed field goal, Minnesota. Cromartie. What? Turns on the afterburners. 109 yards, a record that'll never be broken, unless, of course, you go to the CFL. Wow, what a touchdown. Out of motion, the reopening of the Superdome, we were fortunate enough to be there as the Saints in 06 said hello to their fans. And the Falcons were in town, and you knew early this was a special night. A celebration. Bang! Block punt by Steve Gleason. Curtis DeLoach recovers. Drew Brees, Sean Payton, and the Saints, and away we go. Saints, a huge win as they came back big time. 0-1 playoffs. Foxborough Stadium. We learned about the tuck rule. Charles Woodson causes the fumble of Tom Brady. No, he didn't. Patriots keep ball. And then the greatest kick in the history of the National Football League to tie 45 yards through a snowstorm. Adam Vinatieri, good. The Miracle Patriots go on to the Super Bowl, where they're introduced as one against the Rams. And Vinatieri indoors, 48 yards. A huge upset. The Patriots win Super Bowl 36, the first of 3 for Brady, Belichick, and company. In January 2000, say the Bills, it's the Music City Miracle. Frank Wycheck, Kevin Dyson. It is a lateral, and it is a touchdown. The Titans beat the Bills. And then several weeks later, Nick Jones makes the tackle heard round the world. By that much, the Rams, for Coach Dick Vermeil, are the champs. And the Titans come so close. It was the start of a decade of great Super Bowls. How about last year? Super Bowl 43, right before the half. Defensive Player of the Year, James Harrison, Steelers. Picks off Arizona's Kurt Warner. He could rumble, mumble, stumble. The big fella could go all the way. And as the half ended, he had to stay in or the half would have ended. But it's a touchdown. But Arizona had the lead until Yo Holmes, Big Ben Roethlisberger, Santonio Holmes combined for the Steelers' second Super Bowl. Off his helmet with Rodney Harrison draped all over him. You know what happened. Manning to burst in the final minute. And the Patriots' dream of an undefeated season went by the boards as the Giants registered an upset.
Tuesday on Sports.